Good morning. Is this working, the microphone? Yeah. Great. Thank you very much, Nicola, for inviting me along today. 10 minutes to give you a top line on Decoded, a company which teaches anybody code in a day. Now, why did we set this up? Because this isn't the industry I joined. Everything has changed, everything is changing, everything will continue to change. I was reading at the weekend about graphene, a new substance which is going to replace silicone. So silicone's going to be out of a job, yeah? Silicone roundabout is that way. Where's graphene roundabout? That's where we should be today. We're in the wrong place. Now, all of this creates stress. And I don't like stress. I don't know about you, but I joined the advertising industry because I thought it'd be relatively relaxed and easy. Couldn't have been more wrong. There's a lot of stress around. Hence, Decoded, digital enlightenment. We want to lighten your load a little bit if we can. Now, why did we think it was a good idea and how did it come about? Well, I was having a drink, oh God, January, February last year with a friend of mine, Catherine Parsons, who's a lady down there in the black leather jacket. And we were talking about all this and saying, look, you know, here's this thing called the internet, amazing tool, the best ever tool for commerce, the best ever tool for creativity, the best ever tool for communications. That's the business we're in. But only 3% of people in our industry can understand code, can build on it. So we set ourselves a task. Could we teach people to write code, but in a day? Because we know how time poor everybody is in advertising. Nobody has any time. It's horrific. So, Catherine's a very, you know, it could have been just one of those conversations, couldn't it, where we just talked about it and it was an idea and nothing happened. Catherine wouldn't let that happen. Catherine's an incredibly can-do person. So she brought in two other partners, Richard and Ali, and together the four of us spent probably 8 months working on this product development. So, and we ended up with a 200-line script, which is our template for code in a day. And that's what we do. We do code in a day. There's 10 people in the course, 2 trainers, nobody gets left behind. It's very, very sympathetic and supportive and friendly. Now, what do we teach you in a day? We teach you the story of the web, an intro to the 3 languages that you need, the 3 web languages, and in the afternoon, everybody puts it into practice on a MacBook Air. Now, we can't turn you into a developer in a day. That would be too much, but we can take you a hell of a long way. If you look at the testimonials on our website, you'll see that people go an awful long way, and creative people especially come out of the course and they can prototype their ideas, they can make their ideas, which is a huge difference. We trialed it initially in Albion. I've got good friends up at Albion. I love working with Jason, and they're up for anything, and they loved it, and we took it out to the industry at large. Now, that's what we teach you, and at the end of the day, everybody gets to make a multi-platform app with geolocation. Everyone goes home with a balloon. Everyone goes home happy, and it's fun. Now, we think this is really important for all creative industries and all creative organizations. I loved the presentation earlier from Eric Edge from Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg endorsed what this thought in, I think it was on the day of the IPO, the Facebook IPO, where he sent an email around to everyone in the company. And he said, this is a creative company. I want ideas. I want people to bring ideas to meeting rooms, but don't bring them in your head. Don't bring them on a bit of paper. Bring them, prototype them. And what he said was code wins arguments. And I think that's a fantastically interesting thought for us in the creative industry, where we're presenting ideas the whole time. The difference it can make if you make the idea. The code underlines our world, everything from the Boris bike network to jumbo jets to putting Trevor Beatty in space. All of that is underlined by code. But code, more importantly today, is the creative language of the future. Now, what is code? Code, very simply, is instructions to a computer, and it's in English, more or less in English. So, given all that, given that we can teach you in a day, why wouldn't you learn it? We do it in a day. The costs are very reasonable. It's very supportive. Nobody gets left behind. It's not competitive. Again, look at our testimonials. You'll see the atmosphere that we create is a very supportive one. But you might still be having one nagging doubt in your head. And I've called that the myth of the underpants. And it's because you might have an image in your head of what you think a coder looks like. And you probably think a coder is 15 years old in Wisconsin, in a basement, listening to techno music, hacking into the Pentagon, wearing his underpants. And you think to yourself, well, that isn't me. You know, Wisconsin, techno music, underpants, not me. I don't know what is you. Maybe you is, you know, Wandsworth Common, Volvo Estate, glass of Sauvignon. Whatever it is, you think that isn't you. But that's the myth, okay? You can code. You can code. Your grandmother can code. We can teach anybody code. Anybody from 6 years up. From 6 years up and from CEO down, that's what we can do. Now, can I have the next slide? Yeah. So this is for everybody. So it's not just for creative people, it's for anyone in agencies. And very early on, clients got involved. Some very prestigious clients got involved. We do a lot. There's not a day goes past where we don't get a request from a client to come and do this course. Rebecca Jones of BBC Worldwide, within the first few weeks, we were emailing each other. And she said this. She said, I love this. It's been developed to address the issue that people are interacting with digital projects, even signing off huge budgets with no real knowledge of how things work. I don't know if that strikes a chord with people in that room. It certainly does with me. I've got an image in my head of this industry as a series of meetings where essentially people who don't really know what they're talking about present stuff they don't really understand to other people who aren't really sure what's going on. And we consider that normal. I mean, no wonder we're all so stressed up to our eyeballs, if that's the situation. Rebecca carried on to say, what's needed is an approach that's about understanding the basics of digital. So this isn't about surfing the top of this and the stuff that comes and goes. This is drilling down to the bedrock, the basics, the building blocks of the internet, and to build people's confidence. And that's exactly what we do. She said lots of people now get the opportunity what digital brings. It's about understanding how to do it and not get ripped off or befuddled in the process. Rebecca was talking about the basics of digital. This guy, Eric Schmidt, the chairman of Google, was over giving the McTaggart lecture last year. I'm sure you all read about it. And he was talking about the same thing. He was talking about the building blocks of digital, being code, learning code. And he said everyone in this country should learn code. And the building blocks of digital was actually the phrase we were using while we were product developing this course. 2 weeks ago in The Observer, he name-checked us. He said there's an innovative startup called Decoded, which is offering workshops teaching business people and students the basics of code in just one day. Now, that made us so happy. I mean, how did we get on the radar of Eric Schmidt? Because right now, we're the only people in the world doing it. Okay? There are online courses. Some of you might have tried them. Some of you might have done them. They're great. They're fun. We advise people to try them. We advocate people getting on there and trying. The problem is, a lot of people give up after 4 lessons or so, yeah? We're developing our own online model, but we're not happy with it yet. What we think works is face-to-face in small numbers, and that gets people on this journey, gets people a hell of a long way down this journey. So we're the only people in the world doing it. So people are flying in from all over the world. There's an agency chief flying in from Singapore just to do this. UKTI are flying in 40 CEOs from American companies in about 2 weeks' time, and they're going to do it. We've got people flying in from America, from Europe, just to do our course, because we're the only people doing it face-to-face in the world. We send people a questionnaire before they come on a course, so we can get a bit more understanding what they want to get out of it. We ask you about 10 questions. I've just picked 3 that this guy answered, this agency chief in Singapore. Why digital? I liked his answer. Clients and consumers are demanding a greater level of knowledge and leadership in a digital. I mean, it's just bang on. Can you code? No. 95% of people who come on the course say no. 5% say a little or some or a tiny bit, yeah? What's really interesting about this is interesting code. Now, you can mark that 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. He's got 1. 1 is equivalent of 0. We've had people try to put 0 on that, yeah? He's not interested in code, but he's flying in from Singapore to do it. And I think, that's the point. We don't expect you to have a subscription to the blog on GitHub, Come along, be normal, come along, just be a normal person, but learn this skill, which we think is absolutely crucial. So with that in mind, we've set up this initiative with the IPA. You might have seen this bit of bump, which is supposed to be on your chairs, which is a week where we've dedicated 50 spaces to creative leaders, you guys, the leaders of this creative industry, to teach you code in a day. There's a conference rate which the IPA have negotiated ferociously. We don't give discounts, but the IPA have negotiated a discount or a special rate. Not hugely different from our normal rate, so if you can't make that week, I shouldn't say that, should I? If you can't make that week, feel free to come along another week. The advantage of coming on that week is that you'll be with your peers and there'll be PR about it. You know, this is an interesting initiative. 50 leaders in the creative industries doing this course in a week. So that's the week. It says on a bit of paper 50 CEOs will learn. We're going to be a bit more generous than that. If your job title has the word chief in it, you can come along. Or, in fact, if people call you chief anyway. Come along just because you're a creative leader. Anyone at this conference, that rate is open to, and I do hope you come along. Now, I was told to do this in 10 minutes, so I might have just overdone that. But I was speaking to Janet Hull, and I said, I can do this in one slide if necessary, persuade people that Decoded is a good idea. And this is the slide. Unilever are doing it. Unilever are sending along 10 people next week from their global innovation team. I don't think many people know more about marketing than Unilever. And we've had lots of other clients as well, as I've mentioned before. But I don't want to leave you on that note, because it's a bit stressy, isn't it? The thought that your clients are doing it, therefore you've got to do it. I'm not saying that. Don't feel like that. I think you should come along and do it because it's empowering, because it'll make you feel better. But largely, for this reason, you'll have fun. Look at the testimonials on our website. People feel that they can do their jobs better, they feel happier, they feel more empowered, and they've had fun. So that's our invitation to you. It's there on this bit of paper. I really hope a lot of you take us up on it, and come along, please, and learn code in a day. Thank you very much.